I mean, I think to be a really good negotiator, you have to be a very good listener as well, right? You're reading between the lines and listening for little key details of that person's personality and how to really effectively win them over or disarm them, as I like to say, right? Because disarming somebody, it just makes everybody more relaxed and it helps the deal to go along and move along better.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us. We have a tremendous show, as always, as we have assembled super guests right here in Houston, Texas, the fourth largest city in the United States, soon to be the third. Maybe it's already the third. Don't know yet, but we're going to get started right now as we welcome the managing director of Compass Real Estate right here in Houston, Texas. Her name is Sita Youngblood. Sita, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's good to see you, and it's been many years, but we want to know what's happening at Compass. And let's tell people, first of all, Compass is all over the place, but let's tell them about the Houston location right here.
Well, what's great about Compass in Houston is we started here about 8 years ago, and we are now the number one real estate brokerage in the city of Houston for residential sales.
Very exciting.
Yes. We have 5 offices across the region. We have one on Westheimer, our flagship, 4200 Westheimer. We've got one out in Memorial Green. We have a fabulous Heights location at MKT in the Heights. We have a West Houston office on Katy Freeway, and Woodlands, a gorgeous first floor office in Hughes Landing that looks right out on the lake. It's beautiful.
In position to serve buyers and sellers in a tremendous way every day.
Yes, that's right.
Well, Sita, as the managing director, that's a big job for the organization. Let's tell people what you're doing.
Well, officially, I work with the sales managers. We are on a team together, and I also work with the other leaders in the market for Compass, the leaders of our agent experience teams and our marketing teams, and then I also liaison with Texas Compass leadership and our national leadership.
And give us an idea in terms of the numbers of agents right here in Houston. About how many agents does Compass have?
Well, as far as TREC licensees, we have around 800. Now, that would include agent assistants, listing coordinators, et cetera. So we have, as far as principals, I want to say we have around 300 to 350 principal agents. Some of them might be team leaders. Some of them might be in a smaller group with some fellow agents, and some of them might be standalone agents.
And a question I think a lot of people have when they're not thinking about buying or selling. Everybody loves real estate, TV shows, radios, all these podcasts and things, because real estate is just interesting to people. But everyone always wants to know, hey, what's the market like now? And what are the trends? So what are we seeing here from your perspective in terms of the market right now, and what's happening? What do you think is going to unfold?
Well, what I like about the market now is that it is a very balanced market. For many years, of course, during the pandemic and shortly afterwards, we were in a super, super extreme seller's market with months of inventory at just historic lows. I remember back in those days, I once had a frustrated buyer call me, and she was telling me this long story, and she started out by saying, this listing that we tried to buy has been on the market for a really long time. And so blah, blah, blah. She kept going. And I said, okay, can we back up? You said it's been on the market for a really long time. How long has it been on the market? 10 days.
Oh, that's.
I said, well,
what are we going to do now?
Actually, not a really long time.
Not really, yeah.
But that's kind of the extreme seller's market. So now we're in a balanced market, and it's much. I think it's much better because buyers have time to make good, strong, solid decisions, and also it's not an extreme buyer's market. So that means that a seller who prices their home properly, prepares their home for the market properly, is going to be able to sell it in a reasonable amount of time.
And one of the things we've heard, not just on this show for the last couple of years, about all the people that are coming from other states, other cities, is that still happening?
Not to the same extent that it was, and I've read some articles about that. Some people think that it is because first of all, the interest rates are much higher than they were during the pandemic. So people who have a 2 or 3% interest rate are much more likely to stay in their home than they are to move. Also, people are holding on to their jobs, and they're not as likely to move for work, or just move and then seek work.
So a lot
because of where hiring stands right now.
And the other thing I like to ask, too, is we hear about the people coming in, but how often when you talk to your agents and you assemble and talk about all the different things going on, how often are we seeing people that are leaving Houston or just leaving Texas in general? Do you hear a lot about that?
Well, let me just start by saying that Texas is Texas's biggest referral source. So people leaving from Houston, a lot of them are going to Dallas, Austin, or other places in Texas. Other than that, with our focus on energy here in town, I think we're always going to see a lot of people moving in and out of the city because of that, and because we're a port city, and because, of course, of the Texas Medical Center.
And then from your perspective also, what are some of the other things that are happening just with all the various brands out there, and what do you see, especially as Compass is all over? You have the advantage of hearing from, I don't know, New York City, California, about what's going on in those markets. And when I would imagine when you hear about those things, that's information that you could use right here to serve the buyers and sellers and to inform people along the way.
Well, there's been quite a bit of industry consolidation. You may be aware that the Compass purchased a large company formerly known as Anywhere back in January. And so we purchased the brands that include Sotheby's International Realty, Coldwell Banker, Corcoran, Coldwell Banker, Gary Green, ERA, et cetera. And then recently I just saw today an article that a brokerage called Real purchased REMAX. Yes. So a lot of consolidation.
Yeah, that's a lot of shifting and consolidating. It's
Yes.
fascinating. Well, and of course, real estate already at any level is exciting because of all the changes and the dynamics. So right there, it's an interesting time. One of the things, when I met you many years ago, I remember your background is you started as an attorney. Is that correct?
I did.
Tell
yes.
us about that, because an attorney, I think, has certain perspectives that most of us don't.
Well, I was very fortunate in that when I was a child, I became very good friends with Julie Greenwood's daughter, Sarah. We went to Mark Twain Elementary School together. And through Sarah, of course, I knew Julie Greenwood. And when I got out of law school, Julie Greenwood introduced me to a man named Dick Hargis, who has since passed. But he was really my mentor. And he had a small litigation firm that represented real estate brokers in Houston and across Texas, and also represented HAR as HAR's outside counsel. So I worked with him and with his firm, Grant Harpold was also there for 5 years. And that just, what I was doing is defending realtors when they were being sued for misrepresentation, deceptive trade practices, fraud, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was also, at HAR sitting in on ethics hearings, arbitration hearings, and helping them with things. So it just gave me a really great background for what I'm doing now.
And of course, at this point in time, a real estate contract has so many addendums and pages. So to have that legal eye to make sure that agents are on track and those things, that's very important at this point.
Well, it is. It's definitely helpful to me. There are a lot of very smart people in real estate and very smart people who put those forms together. And I always learn from our agents. You know, our agents are really the cream of the crop, and they working with these forms day in and day out. They are constantly pointing out things to me about the forms that I didn't realize myself.
And give us an idea as far as the categories of real estate that you're specializing in at Compass. I mean, there's farm and ranch, there's luxury high rises are very big here in Houston, and give us an idea of some of the sectors and what's happening in those various markets.
Oh goodness! Well, when it comes to residential real estate, we do it all. I mean, we do have a land and ranch division that is quite successful actually, and we have a great foothold here in Texas, which I'm very proud of. We are the number one luxury brokerage in the city of Houston, and our market share, as the price ranges that you look at go up, our market share goes up. So at the very top of the market, 5 million plus, we have, I believe it's 25% of the market. So that's huge. And of course, we have agents who are specialists in condominiums. We have agents all over the region. So we can do, beach properties at Galveston or, lake properties up at Livingston, Lake Conroe.
Very popular areas too, by the way, right?
Yes,
at this point.
Definitely.
We're talking with Sita Youngblood. She is the managing director of Compass right here in Houston, Texas. Sita, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I think that it's important for people to understand, real estate agents work very, very hard to do their business, and when they list a home, they spend a lot of money taking photographs and a lot of time and effort getting the property ready for the photographs. And what's been happening is those photographs, when they go onto HAR, they immediately go to Zillow. Now, Zillow, if you've ever been on Zillow, what they are doing is they are attracting buyers by showing the agents beautiful photographs of these properties. They sell leads based on the photos to agents. So they are basically monetizing our agents' work product. And the agents, if a sale happens from one of those leads, our agents do not see a dime of that. And that's something that Compass is really working to change. In addition, I think you have to be very careful when you're looking at some of the national portals because they focus on, days on market, price drops. If you pull up a listing on Zillow, you have something called a Zestimate, which is Zillow's estimate for the what the price of the property should be. It's based on an algorithm, and it's very frequently incorrect. So often a seller will look and immediately they will see that there is a gap between what their broker recommended to sell the house at and what the Zestimate is. So that is something that's very negative. There are just a lot of negative insights on some of these portals. Another thing is, a buyer looking at this portal will it's hard for them to figure out who is the listing agent. They're trying to sell leads, so there are lots of buttons saying, click here for a tour or click here to talk to an agent. And those leads are going off to people who really don't know a thing about the listing belonging to the agent.
So you really have to dig it, and I've experienced this myself looking at real estate in other states. It's like, well, who is that listing agent? But if you dig, you could find out. Sita, let's tell people how they can reach Compass and learn more.
Yes, well, we are, of course, on the internet at compass.com. And yes, we'd love to hear from you.
Sita, thanks for being with us. That's compass.com.
Yes, thank you.
As we continue, let's talk to Nadia Gibran. She is the sales manager right here, Compass in Houston. Nadia, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's good to see you once again. It's been a while. Let's tell people, as a sales manager, and we heard Sita talk about the amount of agents that you have, As the sales manager, give us an idea how you get around that role with so many agents and to be able to manage such a team.
Well, the beauty of being at Compass is the sales managers really are brought on to strictly support the agents. So really that is my role, to ensure that I'm available to, tend to all of their needs. And I like to say that I'm like a firefighter. I just put out fires all day. I stop fights all day. I keep people compliant and keep people happy too. So talking them off the ledge.
And you have a lot of experience. You've been in the real
Right.
estate world. Let's tell people about how many years.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, about 30 years now, Bill. It's been a
Wow.
very long time.
And
Yeah.
you're so you still have retained a youthful appearance. 30 years, holy smokes!
It's a lot of injectables and lotions and potions, man, to keep me upright.
I need to find some lotions myself. That's awesome. So, but there you are. It is kind of the beauty, I think, of the sales management role or in sales management is that you do see a lot of activity. It must be very exciting.
It is.
Like you were describing, things are changing all the time. There's
Right.
this, there's that.
Right.
It's kind of fun.
It is fun. Part of what I enjoy doing is I'm not a real lawyer like Sita, but I enjoy the contracts. I enjoy really digging in and figuring out just how to negotiate, because since as a manager, we don't compete with our agents at Compass. So that's kind of my way of really staying in touch with what's going on. So if an agent comes to me and maybe they want coaching on how they should go about negotiating in a multiple offer situation, and they'll ask me if I know the agent on the other end of the deal. Typically, I do know the agent on the other end of the deal, and we can sit down and we can formulate a strategy, and I can tell them, hey, that realtor on the other end of the deal, she's a big dog lover, so mention her dog and ask how that dog is doing. Get your deal sealed and signed up.
Well, that's a good point. And thus, in the 30 years that you say of being in real estate, has it all been in Houston?
It has all been
So
in
there
Houston.
you go. You know almost everybody or a
Right.
lot of people.
I mean, truly, in this time that I have served, I've been in the management role about half that time. So before I was a realtor, and really just the brokerages that I was at were typically in the greater Houston area. So I do feel like I know every one of the agents or have had some interaction with them.
And that's interesting, too. As we talk to realtors right here on the show, a lot of them, or we see them out there in the wild,
Right.
they have either on their card or they proclaim in some way, maybe a T-shirt, I'm a good negotiator.
Right.
That all, because negotiation is a big part of everything, right,
It
in
is.
life.
For sure.
So I'm wondering, what are the staples of a good negotiator in the real estate realm? I mean,
Right.
like you're saying, they have to know the other party or have a
Right.
sense.
Right.
What are some of the other things that are wound up in negotiating?
I mean, I think to be a really good negotiator, you have to be a very good listener as well, right? You're reading between the lines and listening for little key details of that person's personality and how to really effectively win them over or disarm them, as I like to say, right? Because disarming somebody, it just makes everybody more relaxed and it helps the deal to go along and move along better.
Yeah, that's so well put right there, Nadia. We have to be good listeners.
Right?
And I believe that's as salespeople, as many of us, if not all of us, are in one way
Right.
or another.
Right.
Sometimes that charge to be a good salesperson, I know
Right.
myself, that to have the listening, to have the listening radar fully
Have
activated.
to. It really is helpful. And also, I'm a big proponent of picking up the phone and calling somebody.
Oh my goodness,
Because
really?
You
In this day, and you're calling people?
if you are negotiating with another agent, I strongly recommend picking up the phone, because the tone of a text or an email oftentimes is misunderstood. And I don't care if you've swiped it through ChatGPT 14,000 times and you've polished it. Nothing is as effective as calling and listening to that person's tone. Because if I need to beg you for something, I'm gonna do it very sweetly to get what I want from you, Bill.
I'm going to try to be listening because I could respond to that. It is so true. I dealt with a realtor, again, in another state on a property. Hey, I forget the text. I want to hear. I
Right.
want reality.
Exactly.
And so many people either don't answer the phone
Correct.
these days and or use it. It's a dying art.
It
Good to know
really
that
is.
you're keeping it going.
Absolutely. I mean, for realtors especially, whenever your phone is ringing, that's money calling, right?
It's an opportunity one way or another.
You have to answer that phone.
Words of wisdom. It's great. So, as you let's take again the management of many agents in an active office in a pretty good market these days, right?
Absolutely.
So, if someone is struggling, is there any struggles that you hear from one of the agents on your team more often than not? Like, I mean, maybe what's the top 2 things where they might come to management and say, "Man, I ran into a challenge here, Nadia. It's this," or is it always different challenges? But is there 1 or 2 that are just, hey, you hear them all the time?
Oh, Bill, you would really be surprised the challenges that I hear, and they're different every day. And that's why I love what I do, because when I think I've heard it all, oh no,
Here's the
here
next
comes
comment.
Susie Q here with a doozy, and I'm like, all right, let's dig in. Let's figure out how to unravel this. And I'm really good at that, and I love doing that.
See, and you just described being a problem solver.
Right.
That's unbelievable. So as far as the team, right now the team is growing. I'm imagining at Compass.
Yes.
You have an attractive program for real estate professionals out there. So right now there's probably people that are saying, "Man, I might want to call Nadia and be part of the team."
Well,
Who knows?
sure, of course. I mean, I'm always ready to talk to really amazing talent. You know, real estate is one of those industries that you can do this until you are 100 years old. There is no glass ceiling. You can come into the industry with all types of different educational backgrounds, and you can still make it. And that's what I love about it. So yes, send any talent my way who's really looking to work hard, because this is not easy. It's not something that, you just show up on social media and start collecting big checks and then driving the beautiful big fancy car. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, every sale's a $15 million sale, and we're driving around in our luxury cars. And real estate is easy, right?
That's right.
We're dispelling those myths right now, Nadia. So, and the other thing, as your company you're in big markets outside of Houston, which is a massive market, a lot of notoriety here, but New York City, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Chicago, all these places. You probably also interact with other sales managers, and they're telling you some of their interesting stories.
Absolutely.
And even salespeople. So that's got to
Absolutely.
be another facet.
It is another wonderful part of being with the Compass family. One of my roles is I host or I co-host a mastermind event with Compass nationally. So we've got team leads from different teams from around the country, and they kind of weigh in and talk about, what's working for their team, what are effective methods for coaching, or, we just share all the knowledge. And that is yet another great aspect of Compass. Yes, I'm here rooted in the greater Houston market, but I do have access to all these other amazingly talented realtors across the nation, and I get to hear how they work and operate their business.
Also, I was told, I talked to it's been a while, another Compass agent, and they talked about you have unique tools at the Compass agent has certain tools that may other places may not have. Give us a
Bill,
sample.
this could be a whole separate topic, the tools at Compass, but literally that was when I was in the process of considering moving to Compass, I was immediately shown the tech platform. The tech platform was incredible. And, I had come from a company, a brokerage that was pretty darn techy, but nothing like what Compass is doing right now. I mean, we've incorporated AI and the utilization of AI where one of the tools is you just start speaking to your phone and you're telling your AI assistant, I just had a lunch with Gina. I need to set up a search for Gina, and she's looking for 4 bedrooms, 5 baths. She wants to be in the Bel Air area, and please send her an email immediately, set up a search, and then if you could remind me to call her after this showing in 2 hours, that would be great. Also arrange Tiff's treats to be sent to her in 2 days. Remind me. A
lot of tools.
A lot of tools, and I'm not even the one to talk about them in depth.
We're talking with Nadia Gibran with Compass. She's the sales manager. Well, Nadia, what else should people know? About real estate or? Well, let's forget real estate.
Okay.
Now, when you're not busy, helping the team at Compass. What do you do to unwind and relax?
Bill,
Is there time for that, Nadia?
Well, my dogs, that's where I,
Love the dogs.
love the dogs. It helps to keep us sane. And also a little bit of wine helps as well, right?
You like red or white?
Well, I mean, I don't, anything's good. It's all good here.
Okay.
But, I enjoy helping animals, and I always like to encourage people to adopt, don't shop. There are plenty of breed-specific dog rescues everywhere. So if you're a lover of the German Shepherd, there's a German Shepherd rescue out there that could get you your new best friend. So, I like to talk about that.
There's no doubt. There's so many animals, especially in this city, as we both know, that need help. And yeah, I would also encourage people to help the canines and the cats too out there.
Sure.
So that's a good charge. And Nadia, let's tell people, how can they reach you if they want to learn more about Compass or anything else?
Well, you
or
can
connect with one of the agents.
Hey, why don't you come visit me at the Westheimer office? We love having visitors there. It's a beautiful office. Come see me. Or just Google my name. I'm a realtor too, so my info will come up. You can find me. Okay, my phone number. Call me,
You don't
Bill.
have to.
713-817-0910.
The number again is?
713-817-0910.
And Nadia, you mentioned about visiting you. Will there be Tiff's treats there? You already got my attention with the Tiff's treat.
There's always a snack available at the Compass Westheimer office.
Sounds good. Nadia Gibran, thanks for being with us.
Yay.
Moving right along, we've been waiting for Gina Tran to be on the show for months and months, and now she's here. Gina Tran is with LPT Realty. Gina, it's been so long. We're glad you're finally here to join us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Bill. Thank you so much.
Well, we're glad
to be here.
Well, your company is LPT Realty, right? So let's tell people a little bit about LPT, geographically, where you're at most of the time, and anything else.
Yes, LPT is actually a cloud brokerage. It's global, and it's got beautiful listing power tools, and it really empowers agents to serve very well as listing agents, in not only in Texas, but nationwide.
So it's a nationwide organization. Now, geographically, let's say, and as you move around, you can be in different parts, but let's say the last 20 or so transactions, where have you been geographically the most?
I would say maybe 50% of my transactions are in Pearland, and the other 50% is either in the Loop, in Katy, and Sugar Land, Missouri City, surrounding areas.
And we haven't talked to anyone in Pearland for a while, so give us a little bit of a report. Pearland, what's going on in Pearland these days as far as real estate activity?
Oh, it's absolutely growing. The schools are fantastic. Commercial-wise, we're getting more and more restaurants, and the affordability is definitely there.
So the commercial sector seems to be moving along as far as having more restaurants, and I think
Yes.
a lot of some of these outer areas need more restaurants.
Yes. We're also having a Asia market town coming soon as well, so we're growing in that. It's also beautifully diverse, and from different age groups to different economical levels and educational levels.
And as far as your activity right now, I would imagine you help buyers and sellers. Are you serving more buyers or more sellers right now?
I am serving maybe more of 85% is sellers and 15%. Yes, sir.
Wow. So, and with all those listings, about how many of them, are they all right in the Pearland zone or
I would
spread out?
say 50-60% are in Pearland.
So let's say I was going to put my home on the market and I said, hey, Gina, you're fantastic. The word spread. I'm going to give you a call. I want to put my home on the market. How do you prepare the seller at this point in time for expectations and those sorts of things? Let's say my home's in Pearland and I want to talk to you about listing it. How do you counsel the seller?
Sure. I would come to your home and I'll bring sold data, and we'll have a range as far as market value. And I'll tell you how to prepare your home to reach the largest market possible. So whether it's neutralizing the home or depersonalizing it, preparation is definitely key to the success of a sale.
There's so many things probably the first thing all of us might need to do is declutter a little bit. You think?
Definitely.
You run into that?
Oh, all the time. These families live in these homes for 4, 5, 8, 12 years. You accumulate more than you realize until you move. So yes, a lot of decluttering and a lot of neutralizing.
No doubt about it. So as far as real estate, you could be doing a lot of things in life, Gina.
Yes.
Very talented. So what is it about? How did you get into real estate, and what was the attraction where you said, man, I want to be in the real estate world?
You know what? It was actually my brother who told me to get into real estate. I reached a ceiling in the family business. I was working 5, 6 days a week, and I reached a ceiling as far as income. And I knew I wanted more in my life, and I also wanted flexibility. I wasn't married, nor did I have kids at that time, but I knew I wanted to be in the PTO. I knew that I wanted to be PTO president one day, and I knew I wanted to make a lot of money at the same time. So my brother was the one who said, Gina, I want you to try real estate because you have an eye for design. You have an eye for what looks good in a home and what doesn't. And also communication. Whenever I enjoy something, I naturally tell the world about it. And that goes along with selling homes.
And you said that, I think the magic word, it's communication.
Yes.
Because as I hear, if you hear someone ever complain, and it happens, they might complain about a realtor or an experience in real estate with a realtor, and most of the time, the complaint boils down to communication.
That's
so
true.
you really have to have the communication skills
Yes.
top notch, right?
Absolutely. It's so important. Your clients deserve that. So every realtor should have at least one day out of the week to talk to all their clients about what's going on with their listing or what's going on with their purchase. So yes, communication is extremely important. It's crucial.
And then also, I mean, getting the word out about what you're doing is so important. Now, right here today, you're talking to millions of people, at least. I mean, we're hoping maybe 1,000, maybe 5. I don't know how many's out there. Millions. But other than being on radio shows, and I see you've been on the Real Estate Rat Pack. You've been a regular contributor there. Great people at the Rat Pack. But in the meantime, what else do you do from a social media standpoint?
You know, honestly, I don't do, social media has really blown up. I do, honestly, the normal mother, daughter, sister content, very relatable content. I don't do all the fancy smancy stuff. I do content that people can relate to and that we can actually start a conversation with. And I do it consistently. Most of my business comes from referrals and repeat business. And I would say maybe 80% of it comes from referrals and repeat business. And that's the best way to do it. If you do good work for your clients will tell people. And when your clients tell people, the business will come. So do good work.
It's so important. That's right. So as you're out there, and I'm already picturing you, I've not seen you work outside of this radio station, but I'm imagining as you're out there in the community at the various activities as a mother and those things, you're out there, you're talking to people about the business. Because I bet when you say, oh, what do you do? I'm a realtor. What do they ask? 10 questions. Well, that was the one, right? Am I right?
You know what? Sometimes they ask 10 questions, and sometimes they've got their guard up because they don't want to be sold.
Oh, there's
it's really
that too.
It's that too. Sometimes it's really showing up, doing what you're supposed to do, delivering what you say, and say what you do. So from there, you build that rapport, and then hopefully with other advertising or other social media content, or just hearing our name and what we do and our sponsorships, then it'll give some affirmation and hopefully win their business in the future.
So so that you do a lot with referral, and you're out there also spreading the word as you go along. As far as right now, you're more sellers, less buyers. When you see buyers in let's say the Pearland area, when someone wants to buy a home, in your experience in Pearland, what are the key drivers where they say, man, I want to be in Pearland because the schools, or what are some of the other drivers? What's going on down? Because it's in the South.
Yes. So there's West Pearland, that's a newer side of Pearland, newer construction. And there's East Pearland, where it's older homes, but great bones. So it just really depends on the buyer. And on one side of Pearland is Pearland ISD, and the other side is Alvin ISD. Pearland ISD is known for some great things. Alvin ISD is known for some great things. It just really depends on the buyer, and we tailor our services towards them.
And for those listening, maybe in another state, New York City, Indiana, wherever you are, Houston is so big. And when we talk about Pearland, it's pretty much, would we say, directly south of the center of Houston, maybe south and even a little east?
Yes. And it is literally 20 minutes away into Houston, 20 minutes away from one of my favorite spots, which is Chinatown. And it's got great schools. The homes are beautiful. and the affordability
It's there.
is
Yeah.
reachable.
And the other thing I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, as far as Pearland, I knew some people that lived in Pearland, but they're proximate to water areas where they
Yes.
had docked their boat and they would go for boating. So you could be into some of the areas with Clear Lake, right? And even Galveston, it's not that far.
It's not that far. So you enjoy the beach, you enjoy the water. It's not that far of a drive at all.
That sounds pretty good.
Yes.
We're talking with Gina Tran with LPT Realty. Gina, what else should people know about what you're doing or anything else? When you're not doing real estate, how do you unwind in your world? 24/7. I know you're working hard out there, but it is flexible. What else do you do?
What do? I love spending time with my husband and my 3 kids and my dog and our turtle.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Is the dog.
Chewbacca
That's not your
Tran.
husband's name.
That's not my husband's
Okay.
name. Yes,
It's
it's
the dog.
hashtag Chewbacca Tran. And we love just building our home and also our memories. And we love to travel. And we do a lot of volunteer work, a lot of church work. And it's just really hoping that we're raising our kids right, too, at the same time. So that takes quite a bit of time.
Indeed. The turtle's name. Does he have a name?
Oh,
Or
yes.
she?
His name is Squirt. Squirt Tran.
Squirt Tran.
Yes.
You got all the bases covered. Just don't call your husband Chewbacca, right?
no.
Just saying. So in the meantime, Gina Tran, you're out there doing tremendous work. Let's tell people how they can reach you should they want your help buying or selling.
Oh, I would love that. Our website is movewithstr.com and also soldbygina.us. And my cell phone number is 832-721-8193. And call me anytime. 832-721-8193.
Gina, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett.
Howdy, Bill.
Once again, here we are, insurance time. Everybody they gather around the insurance campfire. They want to learn more, and you're always prepared in a magnificent way.
Put another log on and get ready.
Put another insurance log on the fire, and
yeah.
let's light it up.
Let's light it up. So today I'd like to, there's a couple of elements that need to be included in a real estate business's errors and omissions and general liability policy. And that's advertising and personal injury. And they need to be in both policies because while the coverage may be similar, the specifics about the coverage can be different depending upon the policy. So it's important that when a real estate business has a professional liability or an errors and omissions policy and a general liability policy, which they should have, that they make sure that they have advertising and personal injury. So the main similarity is this is a non-injury for non-physical injury claims. So this looks at things like libel or slander, defamation, misrepresentation in advertising. So that's what an advertising or personal injury situation focuses on. So we talked many times about this idea when we mention advertising and personal injury that it's not a broken arm, it's a broken heart. That you've done something, you've said something, you've mentioned something, you've used something that's damaged somebody, or somebody feels like that because of that you haven't delivered your professional services in the manner that you had promised. And both are needed, but both are needed for different reasons. So if we think about, and this is very basic, we think about a real estate transaction. You've got the listing stage, you've got the marketing stage, you have the contract stage, and you have the closing stage. In each stage, there's a need to have that coverage for both policies. So, in the listing stage, we're advising the seller on what to do. We're giving them some guidelines. We're collecting property details. We're building that strategy, to sell the house. So if we get, from an errors and omissions perspective, we get the wrong square footage and we put that out, that's an issue. If we misstate a zoning area or we forget to disclose something, that's where an errors and omissions policy would come into play, because in that situation, somebody come back and said, you did not do your fiduciary duties and you cost me money. On the general liability side, if you were to, let's say, use some content that you didn't have the rights to, that's where that would come into play. When we get to the marketing, now you're promoting the property. So what happens if you state in the property that there's no flood risk and the house floods? Or what happens if you state, this is a rental property and previously it's generated X amount of income and it doesn't generate that? Now you've got somebody that's filing a claim. Or you use a photograph that you don't have the rights to, or you represent the property in a way that you don't have the rights to, then that's where your general liability would come into play. Because in that case, you've harmed a third party. You used, let's say, a photograph that you didn't have the rights to. You didn't pay for those rights, so you've harmed a third party. Or there's a financial loss because somebody came back and said, I wouldn't have bought this house, but you told me there was no flood risk. So that's where that would come into play in the marketing. When we get to the contract aspect of it, now we're reviewing the contracts, we're drafting contracts, we're reviewing them, we're going through the negotiations. So what happens if we miss a disclosure? Or what happens if, we give somebody poor advice or the contract terms don't work out in the time that they're scheduled? Now somebody's going to come back and again say, you did not do your professional services, you've caused me some financial harm. That's why you need to have that element within your errors and omissions policy. And again, if somebody comes back and says, you've written something that was defamed me, you've written something that kept me from doing business, again, that's where it would come into play on the general liability side. And then finally, on the closing. So we go through the closing process. Something wasn't disclosed, or we missed a deadline, or we didn't cover everything that needed to be covered. That's when, again, a professional liability or an errors and omissions policy comes into play, but you've got to make sure that you have that advertising and personal injury coverage within that policy and make sure that it's deep enough and solid enough that if any of these things were to occur, you've got coverage.
So many things to think about, John. And the real estate professional, not just the realtor, but all those involved in the real estate profession, there are risks present almost each and every step of the way. So we must be mindful.
There really are, and you do have to be mindful, and you have to be careful about what you do and what you say, how you do it, how you say it. And we're not all perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and that's where the professional liability coverage comes into play. That's where the general liability coverage comes into play. But it's not just having the policy. That's not enough. The policy has to be written specifically for your real estate industry and for your business. So it can't be just a general errors and omissions policy. It can't be just a general liability policy, general liability policy. It's got to be one written specifically for a real estate broker or a title and attorney agent or a property management firm, because the language has to be very definitive in what is and is not covered. Because if it's very broad, now it's up for interpretation. And when it's up for interpretation, you've got a better chance of a claim being denied. So what we want to make sure is that when we're writing a business policy for our real estate clients, that the paper that it's written on, that insurance policy, is very specific for that industry and for the services that they provide.
Fascinating. John, what else should we know?
Well, if you'd like to be properly insured, and all that means is that you understand the coverage that you have and that you're comfortable with that coverage, we would love to help you out. We can do that on the business side with the general liability we talked about today, with the errors and omissions, workers' compensation, cyber liability. We can help real estate businesses with their business insurance. And then we help families and individuals on their personal insurance, home, wind, auto, flood, motorcycle, investment property. You can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or you can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And of course, as people hear us right here, 950 AM 950 KPRC in the Houston broadcast area and on the iHeartMedia app, you're helping people in other states. So you're not just helping the Houston market, but you're out there, you have clients in Maryland, New York, California, right there, Stewart Insurance.
Absolutely. We have both our personal and business clients all over the U.S.
What's the California hotline?
The California hotline is 866-798-2827. We've got a new one for Pearland as well.
Is that right?
Yes, we do.
Just for Brittany, I think.
Yeah, just for Brittany, yes. And it's Miss Tran, and it's 866-798-2827.
John, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome, Bill.
And speaking of Brittany Hernandez, she's here today. We're so excited to see her once again. Brittany, what's going on right there in the land of pears, Pearland, with Stewart Title? You're doing tremendous work, they tell me.
It's always fun in Pearland. Just come down and see us.
Let's tell people about your office.
So my office includes two amazing escrow officers, Tara Hobbs, which she's been in business for 20 years, and Crystal Morellis, which is our bilingual escrow officer for 15 years. And they are doing some big things in Pearland.
And Tara used to really like to come here to the
She does,
studio. So
but she's just rocking and rolling. So
that's busy,
why,
right?
Yeah, she's pulling in some big commercial deals. We've got lots going on over there. We're seeing a lot of new agents come in, just trying to teach them new things, trying to be their resource and have them, come close with us.
Well, you are like all our Stewart Title business development people all over the city, maybe 17 or so offices. I don't know the exact count, but you're there as a resource for all the real estate professionals.
Yeah, we do all the things. We have tools for our agents. Our new Stewart One, which is Palm Agent, we're showing that to everyone. We have classes. I have a class on Thursday. It's a staging class. We're teaching, I have a lawyer coming in doing how to avoid lawsuits as a Texas broker. So there's just lots of things that we're trying to give our agents to be able to, better their business.
Educational and even every now and then some fun stuff too.
Well, we like fun stuff.
No doubt about it.
You missed Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday was huge.
We'll let you come one day.
Well, Brittany, let's tell people how they can reach you. Brittany Hernandez.
So you can find us on Facebook at Stewart Title Pearland. I have all my events on there, which is great, but you can call our office at 281-412-6900. And that number again for you, Bill, is 281-412-6900.
Brittany Hernandez, thanks for being with us, Brittany.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, as we're winding up the show, we brought back Sita Youngblood, Managing Director of Compass, and Nadia Jerban, Sales Manager. Ladies, welcome back. Now it's stereo. You're on this side, Nadia. There's Sita. I love this. So what's going on? What else should we know before we close the show down, Sita?
Well, we wanted to share with everyone the Compass Entrepreneurial Principles, which were established by Robert Refkin, and our company is really very strongly motivated by these principles. They are, number 1, dream big; 2, move fast; 3, learn from reality; 4, be solutions driven; 5, obsess about opportunity; 6, collaborate without ego; 7, maximize your strengths; and one of my all-time favorites, number 8, bounce back with passion.
I think I like the first one a whole lot, dream big, because, I think you could track any successful individual like Nadia or any of us here or any other figures on a larger stage, and they are big dreamers because you have to reach for big goals, right?
Right, absolutely.
In the sales management role, the agents, you have to encourage them all the time.
Absolutely. And part of that was what Sita just mentioned, the collaborate without ego. I'm here to tell you that.
How does that work? Yeah.
Well, the culture at Compass is real, and you will notice that we're very fortunate to have such a special culture. You will find the agents there. They do love to collaborate. They love to share information and doing it without ego. So it's one of my favorite principles. I love it.
That's awesome. What else should we know, Sita, before we wind up the show here today? We're so glad that you guys returned.
Well, we are so happy to be here too. And Nadia was talking about her favorite CEP. I think mine is definitely bounce back with passion, because it just recognizes that, we do all have times when things don't go exactly as planned, and we may get a little down about it or feel like we've been, knocked off our chair. But you can always come back, you can always bounce back, and you can always, put yourself in a position to succeed again.
And a final word, Nadia?
Well, my final word, you know what it's going to be. Adopt, don't shop.
That's right. I mentioned the millions of listeners.
That's right.
500,000 are dogs. They love the show. I am told there's scientific research that when they hear this show, tails are wagging. It's true.
Great. That's right.
Let's tell them how they can reach you, Nadia Jerban.
One more time, 713-817-0910. 817-0910.
And don't forget the next sales meeting, tell them to tune into the show, right, Sita?
Yes, tune into the show. We will tell them.
Thanks for being with us. And now Gina Tran is back. Gina, it's me and you. We're landing the ship, landing the plane. I don't know, winding down, winding up.
All right, let's do it.
So let's do it. Gina, a final word. Let's tell people what else you want them to know about what you're doing there in the land of pears and beyond. You're covering the whole South, really.
Yes, I am here to sell your house and also help you buy a house in Pearland and surrounding areas. So call me anytime or text me 832-721-8193, 832-721-8193, and soldbygina.us.
And right now, if you were to mark a trend in the Pearland area and you were to look ahead, and no one knows, we're speculating, but between now and the end of the year, how do you see things winding up?
You know, I agree with Sita. We're at a very balanced market, and I also like to call it a delicate market. Buyers are smart, and they know how much things cost, and condition is a huge factor when a home sells quick or for a high dollar. So consider condition versus opportunity cost.
Might be a time, too, to remodel the home before you sell it, at least in certain parts of it. Would that be safe?
Certain parts.
Sounds good. Gina, the phone number again is?
832-721-8193.
Thank you, Gina, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, Mike Snyder, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We're glad you're listening right here to show number 602. That's right, a lot of shows. If you want to hear this show again, see the guest. That's right, there are special effects, car chases, all sorts of things happening right there on the video. Go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio, or making it even simpler yet, go to Radio Bill. Radio Bill, that's the YouTube channel. Check it out. We'll see you next week, and thanks for listening and watching.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.
Real estate matters every Sunday at 5 on AM 950. Feel that real estate vibe. Streaming nationwide on the iHeart app. Join the conversation. It's a real estate map. What's hot in the market? What's moving fast? Bill Knapik leads the way, never comes in last. We'll talk about homes and the best-selling rates, real estate stories that truly relate. With experts gathered around, it's a show like no other. Well, lift your spirits, it's like talking to your brother. So grab a cup of coffee, don't fall behind. Real estate matters, it's your Sunday find. Real estate matters, every Sunday at 5 on AM 950. Feel that real estate vibe. Streaming nationwide on the iHeart app. Join the conversation, it's a real estate map. Listen up, my friends, to what we bring. Inspiration, information, it's a real estate fling. Bill Knapik invites you to tune in each week from the bustling city.